So Nintendo Switch Online is finally here with the expansion pack, which is giving you Genesis games as well as Nintendo 64 games. Problem is, if you're trying to pick up a Nintendo 64 controller from Nintendo, the odds are they're out of stock. But what if I told you there's a controller that's just as good, if not better? Well, honestly, spoiler alert, it's a better controller, and it's made by none other than Retro Fighters. What am I talking about? The Brawler 64. This is a controller you need when you're playing Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack and you're diving into the N64 classics. It also happens to be really good when it comes to fighting games. Let's get into it. Before we kick this video off, I want to give a huge shout out to Retro Fighters for sending over the Brawler 64. This right here is a great controller. I'm actually surprised at how good it is, just because, when it comes to third-party controllers, you just never know what you're going to get. And when it came to this, I was already blown away with the Duelist. From when I play Smash, this is one of my go-to controllers, if not the best go-to controller I have for playing Smash. And yet, when it came to the N64 games, you can play them with the modern controllers. And yet there's just something about the Brawler 64 that's just head and shoulders above anything else that's on the market. I mean, you can pay $50 for the Nintendo 64 controller from Nintendo if you can get it. And that's cool and all. It was not an ergonomic controller, and let's be honest, it was one of the first analog controllers ever made. And so, companies back then, Nintendo, Sony, Sega, they were all experimenting because this was uncharted territory, the 3D landscape. And you wanted to navigate it, and it was proven that D-pads just weren't the method for you to do that. So they brought out analog sticks, and the first one was the one from the 64. And honestly, after using this, I don't think I could ever go back to using that controller. It was awkward. This is really comfortable. It's ergonomic. It's just a beautiful controller all the way around. And it's the way that I think going forward for any N64 game that's going to be coming out further for Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, I'm going to be using this controller hands down because this is really comfortable. Is it perfect? No, there's some issues I've run into with it. As a whole, I'd rather buy this and be able to use this for more than just N64 games and be comfortable using it for more games, such as fighting games and the like, and, 2D platformers. This is really perfect for those. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you want to pick up the Brawler 64, I'll have a link for it down in the description below. Really great controller. And other than that, if you're new to the channel, aloha, I'm Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator, host of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. If you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel, and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. Outside of that, if you want to support what we do, we got merch over on Teespring and TeePublic, as well as channel memberships, Patreon, Coffee, and Subscribestar. All that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the review of the Brawler 64, the controller you need to pick up when you're playing Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, especially for the Nintendo 64 games. 2D games, fighting games, all games. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the review. Now, the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to this controller is just how comfortable this feels. This is made out of plastic. It's very lightweight. I mean, it's not going to have the same level of heft as a standard Pro controller. It doesn't even have the same heft as the Duelist controller, but it is a solid controller for what it is overall. It is lighter than the original N64 controller, but overall, I like how ergonomic it is. It's got contours and it just fits easily in your hands. It's really grippable, as you can see. The analog stick is really good. It's got the octagonal part that was originally on the N64. The analog stick is a convex top and basically allows your thumb to just really comfortably sit on it and just move about. Now, granted, I think a lot of us at this point are so used to concave sticks, and this can be a little bit of it will be a little bit of an adjustment period for you to get used to this, but overall, it is comfortable to use nonetheless. The button layout is really good. Although if you're used to this type of layout, it will throw you off because basically your button layout, even though it's the same as this, it is different in this way that this is a traditional N64 layout, whereas this is the modern take. So basically it's A, B, Y, and X. And that's just how this layout is. It will take a little bit of getting used to overall, but you'll get used to it. The D-pad is really, really good. I've actually been trying it out with a bunch of 2D platformers as well as some fighting games, and it is honestly one of the most comfortable and responsive D-pads I've ever personally used. When it comes to playing it with fighting games, like I'm hands down getting it to just work perfectly the way I want it to. You got the start button that you can see here, like the start button's right here. Which mirrors the original N64 controller, as well as, the color scheme. The color scheme is exactly like the original N64 controller was. And then you've got your what's called the turbo and clear, which honestly are your home and your plus button from the Pro controller. So, that takes a little getting used to. On the top, you've got your L and R, which are pretty good. They're very, very comfortable to use, very responsive. And the Z buttons also really good. It does take a little getting used to having two for, N64 games. Because here's the thing, that they don't all work. Like both of the Z buttons or the Z buttons, they don't work for the N64 games, which you just got to get used to it in that sense. And to wake up the controller, you actually have to press the start button and not anything else. It's just one of those things. But outside of that, I mean, it's a very comfortable controller, very responsive. I'm not really running into any latency in using it. And I just think it's a really good controller, as opposed to spending $60 on the Nintendo Switch official N64 controller. But hey, that's my thoughts. All right, so I'm testing out the controller right now to see how it is, and thus far, it feels really good. This is Winback. This is one of the games I really, really enjoy from my childhood. Just got to readjust to the controls, but left trigger is your duck. R is your aim. And like all games back in the day, it's got inverted controls. And then you got, I believe, C left is your camera pan. But it doesn't pan the other way around, which kind of sucks. But yeah, so duck. Duck, and then A lets you do that. B is your reload. Going prone against stuff is A. So let's go ahead and try it out. Hey, back in the day, this game was like the business back in the day. I mean, it hasn't aged that gracefully. At least you got unlimited bullets. Yeah, this C-stick feels real good. Alright, so we're gonna try this with some Mario Kart. I haven't honestly played this probably since 97 or 98. So well over 20 years since I played this. So we're gonna dive into it. If I recall the controls, accelerate, jump, it should be shoot. But we'll see. Yeah, this controller feels really good with this game. Drifting. I mean, Mario Kart has definitely come a long way since this. Let's see, can I take number one? They've come such a long way since this. Let's see if I can catch up. I mean, controls in this game, I think if you're coming off of modern Mario Kart, yeah, it's a little loose. Hey. But, you know, it still feels good. I can't complain about that. Alright, so let's switch over to another game. So you're going to press here to go back to your game selection. If you want to go back to your home screen, just press this button here. And then what we'll do is we'll try out some Sin and Punishment, which is a game I remember playing the import back in 2000, I believe, but I haven't touched it since then. I know they translate it, and then the sequel's on the Wii, I believe. Which I definitely need to pick it up. So let's check out controls. Okay, so C, left and right are strafe. Double jump, jump, strafe, shoot. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're not gonna play this one easy. Oh yeah, buttery. Okay, so for some reason I can't get this to work. But it's working here for me to go the other way. This game is just as good as it always was. But I mean, what can you expect from like Treasure? Like all they did was pump out gems left and right. So I can apparently strafe. I can only strafe right when I am. When I'm not shooting. I can strafe left when I'm shooting, but not right. Not sure why that is. I mean, so far so good. It's kind of weird that this is my right strafe and that's my left strafe, but I guess it is what it is. So let's hop out. We're gonna try one more game, which I think we should try Mario 64. Reason being because
It's me, Mario.
that's why.
Hello. Okie dokie. Let's go.
Okay, so we're on the first level. We're gonna try how the controls feel. So moving around, it feels to me exactly like it did back in the day on the actual 64. You can do my diagonals. Stop on a dime. I'm not experiencing any lag other than Mario's startup. So yeah, his lone jumps are fine. Punch combo or dive rather. Da, 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 da. Backflip, breakdance. Yeah, so everything seems fine. That was the game, not the controller. Yo. Get that first star. I do recall the right C giving me the ability to like toggle the camera to the right, but it's not doing it here. So, I mean, if anything, I'm just having issues with the right C working. But other than that, perfectly fine. Now, one quick thing I do want to mention is that if you are expecting all of the C buttons to function exactly like the Nintendo 64 controller, they're not going to. A and B are going to function just perfectly well. It's these two right here that also will work, whereas these won't. Just because if you're playing a 64 game, these are going to register as L3 and R3, which don't have any functionality because that functionality did not exist on the original N64. So do keep that in mind. So the best way to honestly visualize how this button layout is, if you were to take it like this and turn it this way, and then you have an idea of it being similar to what a standard layout is. So with your A being on the right, B being on the bottom, Y being the left C, and then this is X right here. So that's the button layout along with R3, L3, or either which way. And that's just something I wanted to mention just because, you know, I don't know if there's going to be a firmware update or if you can update the firmware on this to make it work perfectly with the N64 games, but as it is, yeah. Keep that in mind. Anyways, that's the review. What do you guys think of the Brawler 64? Is this a controller you're looking at picking up? Is it a controller you have already? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going in the comment section below. If you want to pick up this controller, I will leave links in the description below so you can go and get it that way. And also, again, shout out to Retro Fighters for sending this over to me. I absolutely love this controller. It's fantastic. And man, between this and the Duelist, I love them. The only thing now is I just need to get the one for the Dreamcast and maybe one, for the Genesis. Why not? I need to get the one from Genesis, the Dreamcast, and yeah, I think I need to do that because I think that would be really dope. I really want to try those out because I love the quality of the controllers from Retro Fighters. Like, I'm really, really blown away with how meticulously designed these are. They're really, really great. But anyways, make sure you sub to the channel, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from here. Also, like the video, share it with someone you think would enjoy it. And if you want to support what we do have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, as well as channel memberships, Patreon, Coffee, and Subscribestar. Links for everything is down in the description below. All that being said, I'm signing out. Deuces wild, too sweet, be the elite. Get some N64 in with the Brawler 64. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video, and if you found anything of importance or substance that you gained from watching this, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the content that you get from my channel, from podcasts, streams, reviews, impressions, reactions, and so much more. If you want to support what we do have channel memberships, we've got Patreon, we've got Subscribestar, as well as coffee, which I would love to be drinking some coffee right now, which I am. That's some good coffee. But anyway, we got all of that, and we also have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so make sure you go check that out. And all that being said, I just hope to see you in the next video that I put out. So hey, see you around.